Hello, welcome to American Baker in Germany, where the ingredients are German and the baker is American. I'm Michelle, and today we are making a carousel-themed cake. This was a request from one of my viewers, so I'm really looking forward to doing this one, and let's get started.
I started out by adding some Tylo powder to some white fondant. First, I'm going to make the carousel horses. They need to be able to stand up for themselves. I bought this carousel horse mold off Amazon. I will leave a link to the one I bought in the description box below. But whether you have a carousel horse mold or a regular horse mold, you will need a mold. Even if you are an amazing modeler, it will be very difficult to make 4 identical horses attached to a stick. I press the stiffened fondant into the mold and roll it on with the roller to get all the details. I cut off the excess with the knife and clean up the edges with my fingertips. I pressed a kebab stick into the pole part of the carousel horse. I flipped the mold over and curled up the edges of the mold to remove it. I do not use the pole part of the press mold because it won't actually work to support the horse. I cut off the pole part of the press mold and press the stick into the horse and press another piece onto the back to keep it on. By the way, I have realized that pretty much all carousel tutorials began with little cherry cake tutorials. Tracy has posted several tutorials for a carousel horse cake, and all other tutorials basically followed hers, including mine. I will also link a couple of those in the description box. Please check out her tutorials. She is a master of cake. After all the horses have been made, I'm laying them on a cake board to allow them to dry overnight. And I used some pink, purple, and turquoise food coloring and gold edible paint. I mixed the food colorings with alcohol and painted the saddles purple. I painted the decorations pink. I painted the mane and tail turquoise. And I painted the hooves and pole gold. This video looks very different than I usually do because I bought a new phone and I decided to try it out as a video camera. Then it was reversed because I was using it in selfie mode, so I had to flip it horizontally, and when I did, I ended up with this. Sorry, not sorry, I'll work on getting it better, but I really liked the quality of the video, so I'll keep working on it. Then I frosted an 8-inch cake dummy with vegan American buttercream. I covered the bottom tier with turquoise fondant. Next, I frosted 2 4-inch cake dummies stacked on top of each other with vegan American buttercream. Then I covered this one with white fondant. This was a bit more difficult because of how tall it is, but we got through it. we got through it. And now the last tier. This is a 6-inch cake dummy that I frosted with vegan American buttercream. I made a gentle cone shape with white fondant and placed it on top of the cake. If this were real cake, you could carve it or leave the cake domed to get this effect. Then I covered the domed top cake Then I stacked the cake. Turquoise tier at the bottom, white tier in the middle, and domed cake on top. If this were real cake, then make sure the top tier is on a sturdy board, and the middle tier has several straws or dowels to keep it sturdy so it won't collapse. Before you decorate anything else, make sure to decorate the middle tier that will be covered by the horses. I'm using purple fondant and using a swag press form to decorate the top. Decorate the top. Then I rolled out a strip of purple fondant and used a decorative border to cut out a decorative strip for the bottom of the tier. I also had marked the side that I chose to be the back, so all the decorations started and ended there. I recommend this because there can literally be as many decorations as you would like. There is a lot you could do. Then I placed the horses. I trimmed the poles to be just the right length. I pushed the skewer into the bottom tier slightly, and I added a ball of pink fondant for the top to stick it in place to the top tier. And I did this for all of the carousel horses. If you're wondering what the turquoise thing on the cake board is, that's the horse's tail. Unfortunately, this mold has rather thin tails, and several of them fell off the second I picked up the horse. This one I managed to put back in with a small piece of toothpick, and the other two I didn't bother doing. Now, you can literally have a heyday. Play around with the decorations. What I ended up doing was pretty minimal, so feel free to do 3, 4, 5 times more than I did. I decorated the bottom of the top tier with a textured border hanging below the edge. It's important that it hang below because we need to hide the balls of fondant that keep the horses in place. Then I placed white swags around the top of the top tier. Then I made another decorative border for the bottom of the cake. Then I made some pink roses with a press mold and I pressed them all around the bottom of the cake. Then I made some pink bows with the press mold and placed them between. I spent a lot of time on this cake, but I could have spent another 3 hours on the decorations and not had it look like too much. I love this cake. It's absolutely gorgeous. Slightly complicated, but so worth it. I absolutely love it. For more cakes and tutorials, visit our website at AmericanBakerInGermany.com. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Subscribe for a new cake video every week. Hit the notification bell to be the first to know when we upload a new video.